Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Maya Millete, a Filipino-American, was a civilian employee of the United States Navy. She last worked as a contract specialist for the Naval Information Center. Maya was born in the Philippines but raised in Honolulu. She graduated from Admiral Arthur High School, later attending and graduating from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Maya met Larry Millete in high school after he had moved to Hawaii from San Diego with his family following a juvenile gang-related assault in 1997. They later married, and he served in the United States Navy for 5 years. After serving, Maya and Larry moved to Chula Vista, California, and had 3 children. January 7, 2021 is when everything would start going downhill for their family. Maya and Larry had been married for 20 years at this point. They were all close, so when her family stopped hearing from her, they got concerned. Maya was known to text back right away, but her family thought it was strange that she stopped responding to her text and calls. Maya's daughter's birthday was coming up on Sunday, the 10th, and they were talking a lot leading up to this event. Their daughter was turning 11, and Maya and her family had plans to go to the Big Bear Lake to celebrate. January 8th, the day after she stopped responding, since her family couldn't get a hold of Maya. Maya's older brother went to their house and knocked on the door. To his surprise, Larry answered, and they had a small conversation. Larry told him that the night before, when she was last heard from, they got into a fight, and she stormed up to her bedroom, and she locked herself in there. He said they didn't speak for the rest of the night. Larry told him she wouldn't speak to the kids either. He stated that since she refused to come out on the 8th, he went to the beach with his son, and when he got back home, he can hear her walking around upstairs, but he didn't see her at all. He said this was a normal thing she would do from time to time. On January 9th, the family returned since they still hadn't heard from Maya. This time, when speaking to Larry, Maya's family demanded to see her. They told Larry to let them inside the house. When they checked the room that Larry claimed she was in, the room was clear. Maya wasn't there, and the room looked spotless. Larry said he didn't know where she was. Her car was still in the driveway, and the only thing that was missing was her license and her credit cards. After the family searched the house looking for Maya, her older sister decided to call 911 and report her missing. Her sister said the last time they spoke to Maya was around 8:15 on the 7th of January. Her family said she wasn't suicidal. She wouldn't just leave. Maya loved her children, and her daughter's birthday was coming up. Officers started an investigation looking into Maya being a missing person.
Mother of 3 from Chula Vista. Take a look. 39-year-old May Millete was last seen Thursday evening at her home in San Miguel Ranch.
We did speak with May's brother-in-law and sister, and I asked them a question on a lot of the minds of people who have been following this story. What could have potentially led up to this? Were there any signs? And this was his response.
There were a couple red flags, but I'm going to let that to the police to investigate.
It's now been 5 days since Maya Millete has gone missing. Her family still holding out hope that she will be found safely.
Volunteers showed up to help with the search for Maya. The last time her family physically saw her was on the 3rd of January, when Maya and her husband Larry went camping with her sister Maricris and her husband. Her sister told detectives that the camping trip was uncomfortable and awkward since Maya and Larry were fighting the whole time.
Larry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right there. So first, when it's recording, do I have your permission to record this conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys were married 21 years? Tell us.
Well, it'll be 21 years, May 21st of this year. So 20 years, it'll be 21 this year.
Wow. What do you love about Maya?
Oh, I love everything about her. She's very smart, kind, basically just herself, her personality, her smell, just everything.
And probably her love for life. She loved to hike, right?
Oh, yeah. She, just her outgoing personality.
And probably a great mom.
Oh, yes, she is.
So, what do you think happened? There's no reason that you can think of, why she wouldn't be here.
I don't want to speculate. There's a lot of speculations, and, people kind of throw these, speculations out. But right now, I just want to focus on how, to get her back home safe and sound. And
Detectives did think it was possible something or someone hurt her while she was out hiking since Maya loved the outdoors. Larry did hire a lawyer, and he stopped complying with the investigation of his wife. Larry didn't participate in any searches for his wife either over the following months. He also stopped letting their children go with Maya's family. He stopped them from talking to Maya's family as well.
Well, first of all, we thank each and every one of you for coming. And in the community, the public, we do thank you from the bottom of our hearts, helping us finding my sister. I'm sorry.
During the search for Maya, bones were found, but it was determined to be animal bones. Search warrants were taken on their home, and the FBI was also a part of the search for Maya. They found this recording from the night of January 7th, when her sister said she was last heard from. This was around 10 p.m. Maya once told her sister if anything happened to her that Larry was the reason and he would be behind it. On the 22nd of July, over 6 months since she went missing, Larry was named a suspect. Detectives never discovered evidence that would show Maya went missing. What detectives did think was that her husband Larry murdered her that night of the 7th and disposed of her body. They learned about Maya and Larry's relationship and how it has been going on a decline for the last year. Detectives noted when questioning Larry, he told them Maya was cheating, but that was never proven. Only Larry believed that she was cheating. Around this time, Maya told her sister how she wanted a divorce and she didn't want to be with Larry anymore, but Larry didn't feel the same way. She told her sister how he was controlling and would be abusive. Detectives also noted that when they asked to see Larry's cell phone, every message between him and his wife was deleted. He told them he only deleted her messages to save space on his cell phone. Detectives also found surveillance footage of Maya arriving home around 4:45 p.m. on the 7th of January, and she was never seen leaving the house. The fact Larry told them she left for a run and she was never seen leaving were all red flags for investigators.
Maya's sister and brother-in-law tell me they haven't been in contact with Larry since he cut ties with the family back in January.
Volunteers showed up to help with the search for Maya. Detectives also found out around December she told her friend she was done with Larry and she started looking for a divorce lawyer. They told detectives she was serious about leaving Larry. Larry was also described by her friends as a stalker and he was very controlling. He would randomly show up at her job to ensure she was there. He also had a tracking app on her phone to see her location 24/7. Detectives also learned about Larry choking her while they were on a camping trip right before she went missing. Maya's sister told them he choked her to the point she passed out and had marks around her neck. Looking over Larry's search history, he looked up a few drugs that can knock someone out. They also saw he was into casting magic spells. Larry was into money spells and love spells. They saw him searching for spells on how to keep your wife. Larry would spend a lot of his time and money into having spells casted on his wife. Larry was buying them daily from the start of September all the way through January. Larry bought a death spell and tried to have a hex on Maya. He wanted her to have broken bones so she would have to depend on him. He wanted Maya all to himself. He also had a shrine for Maya in his house. Maya had a meeting scheduled with an attorney and Larry just happened to know about it. She was planning on getting documents for a divorce. Detectives mentioned on the 9th of January he reached out to the spellcaster asking if they could stop the hex on his wife. He was also reported for not showing up to work on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of January. No one knew where he was those days. He told Maya's family he took his son to the beach on the 8th, but his phone was off all day. It was off for more than 11 hours, and detectives couldn't verify his alibi. A neighbor's Ring camera also captured Larry reversing his car into the garage, but you couldn't see what he was doing in there. When detectives searched his house, they also found an assault rifle that was non-compliant with California law. They never found the 4 registered guns he had, which was strange. When the detective asked him where his guns were, he replied he had given them to his uncle before the police arrived.
They show the gun collection of Larry Millete piled up on the kitchen table, 16 firearms in all. The redacted section of the photo blocks out Millete's 4-year-old son, who is standing on the table surrounded by the guns. Police used the 2 photographs to convince a judge to issue a temporary gun violence restraining order against Larry Millete several months ago.
All my firearms were purchased legally. I'm a law-abiding citizen and veteran. My rights have been violated numerous times, especially my 2nd and 4th Amendments.
Meanwhile, however, the family was standing by listening to all of this. And Mary Chris, May's sister, she said this. Take a listen.
Sorry, it is just overwhelming at this time for me. I'm still trying to take it today.
A neighbor also reported seeing the kids outside the night when the loud bangs were heard on camera. They also stated they could hear the kids screaming, which was rare for the Millete family. He thought it was odd for the kids to be outside that late. On the 19th of October 2022, Larry was arrested for the murder of his wife Maya. SWAT kicked his door down and arrested him after they were able to gather a warrant.
At 11:42 a.m., the Chula Vista Police Department SWAT team served an arrest warrant and arrested Larry Millete for the murder of his wife. Larry was taken into custody at his home and was alone at the time of his arrest.
He was charged with murder and illegal possession of an assault rifle, and he pleaded not guilty.
He waives the reading of the complaint, and I have advised him of his constitutional rights, and at this time would like to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, at this time, the court will enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Millete's behalf and a denial of any and all allegations. We'll show Ms. Martinez.
Made about 129 jail calls, and at least 9 hours of those have been to his children.
Last week, a criminal protective order was given to the father, ordering him to have no contact with his children.
I didn't know the paperwork. I didn't.
First of all, let me explain what a court order is. It's not a suggestion, and it's not a request. It's an order that you must abide, or you risk further criminal proceedings.
He will now only be allowed to call his attorney.
Meyer is still missing to this day, and Larry is still on trial. Their 3 kids are with Maya's family, who has custody.